Are we recording? Testing. One, two, three. Oh, all right. Looks like now we're testing. I mean, now we're recording.
Yeah, we are.
Yay. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Tiffany, and I am back with once again two of my favorite people on earth. Apologies for the little juggle there at the beginning, but I am like at my brother's house, and all of my nephews are downstairs, and I was like, oh snap, I got a meeting starting. So now I'm in the guest room recording on my phone. So thank you, John and Sarah, for being patient with me and helping me kind of wiggle my way through this. For those who somehow have no idea just how awesome you both are, please introduce yourselves to TACCON.
Oh,
You go
it's me
first
because I'm the
because you're the awesomer one.
oh, that's definitely it. Well, hi. Thanks for having us. I'm Sarah Hauptman. This is John Hauptman. We are the owners of Filster Holsters, which is the first and last time we're going to mention that because nothing that we teach is brand related. We teach concealment. And we don't teach just here's a holster, put it on your body. We teach a scientific process that you can follow to get better concealment with your existing holster or with a holster that you choose because it will work for your body. And that's one of those things that's really hard to know before you buy. So we all end up with this box of discarded holsters of, things you thought were a great idea and they weren't. And we thought, okay, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So,
Yeah, so most of the concealment classes that you've been to have been essentially a survey of contemporary holster options that you can go out and buy, because the expected process is that you are going to buy a whole bunch of holsters until you find out what works for you
Mhm.
in a kind of more or less luck of the draw, random chance kind of way. There's no real guided process for this. And this is not how we teach people how to shoot, right? We have a set of fundamentals that everybody applies to whatever degree is relevant to them. And the fundamentals of shooting are known well enough and evolved well enough to the point where, any decent instructor can look at a target that has been shot. If they
Yeah.
know the speed at which it was shot and the distance at which it was shot, you can make some pretty accurate guesses about the fundamentals of that student based on nothing but hits on paper, right?
Mhm.
And when you are learning how to shoot, nobody says just keep buying guns until you find one that hits the bullseye, right? Since we know what the fundamentals of shooting are, we select guns based on their ability to allow us to execute those fundamentals, right? If a gun's too big for my hand, I'm not going to do well on the fundamentals related to trigger press. Likewise, if it's too small, then I don't do well in terms of, of trigger press or of grip in that case, right? But there's no guided process for finding out what works for you in terms of a holster. So there's a lot of like buying stuff and guessing about what works.
Yeah.
Now, what we have done is we have taken all of the knowledge that we have from making holsters and from talking about making holsters with all of our peers and doing concealment stuff for all these years. And we've turned that into a set of fundamentals and principles and processes that allow instructors like those who attend TACCON to learn these principles and then take them back to the classes that they teach to students and give them a much better experience of concealed carry, right? It's another transferable self-diagnostic process, just the way shooting is, right?
Mhm.
And by turning concealment into a transferable process of fundamentals, our goal is to help people stay on this path for longer. Because as we know, going to the range is fun and social, and going to classes is fun and social, right? And all the stuff, surrounding shooting is fun and social. But when it comes time to carry your concealed pistol, you are doing that in a kind of frustrating and lonely way where you're the only person having these problems and you can ask for help and other people say, well, I bought this thing, you should try it, and you buy it not knowing what or why or how it even works for them if it does at all. And you
Yeah.
either have kind of a lateral change or no new success because you don't know the step-by-step process for diagnosing what it is about your concealment that you want to fix, where concealment comes from, and how to essentially adjust the gear you have to fit you. And then from that point, take the next step to say, okay, well, I've got this as good as I can get it. Now I need to look for a holster that more readily facilitates these things. And I know what those things are because I've gone through this process. And that's what we hope to deliver in our class.
Yeah, and we are very friendly to beginners and instructors in this class. So you don't have
Yeah.
to only show up if you're an instructor or only show up if you're a beginner. There's enough material here that everyone can take something away from it.
Yeah, I was gonna add that for sure. And I have to say, if you're listening to what Sarah and John say and you think it's too good to be true, um, please take my word for it. I don't know anybody who has really distilled this down to a science as well and as thoroughly as they have. And I say this to you guys every year, but I absolutely mean it, and I'll say it again. The generosity that you all show with your expertise is just amazing. And you give away such knowledge for free that the entire community owes you a tremendous debt. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Folks, if you spend time learning your fundamentals like John discussed, even if you've spent time learning the 4 count draw stroke or what have you, and you've not taken a class that actually teaches you how to conceal a firearm, there should be so much more to it than just, well, cover it up, right? And that's where John and Sarah, where your wisdom is so priceless and indispensable, if I do say so myself.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Even if you're really happy with the concealment you're getting, at the minimum, what our class will give you is a really great vocabulary, which will help you describe your results to other people who want them. Right? Sometimes it's hard to transmit information when you have to invent the vocabulary for it every time you do it. At a
Yeah.
minimum, we give you a great vocabulary for how to discuss concealment and how it's accomplished so that you can hand that as a package to someone who wants to learn.
Yeah, that's super important
Absolutely.
because even TechCon does attract a lot of instructors, just kind of the nature of that crowd. But there's also some new shooters there as well. And the thing for
Mhm.
the new shooters to know is that by taking that step to get yourself quality training, you are leaps and bounds ahead of most people in the gun community. So you're gonna become the resource for your friends, for your family. They're gonna see what you're doing and they're gonna notice, like, oh, she's really squared away. What holster do you use? And then you have the choice. You can either say, well, I use this, it works for me, even though they're totally not like you and it's not going to work for them. Or
Mhm.
you can say, okay, here, let me help you. Here's the consistent, repeatable process. It's easy. And this will help you find the holster that you need for your body.
Right. We're
Yeah.
we're trying to go from a highly atomized, gear centric X gear works for me
Mhm.
at the individual level to something where it's a lot more like X process works for everyone.
Yeah. No,
Right.
that Sarah, I think I'm sorry, John, did I interrupt you?
No.
Oh, I was just going to say, Sarah, that's a perfect, kind of litmus test for who should take this class. Everybody should take this class, but especially if you've ever been asked, hey, what holster is that? And you didn't think to explain process as opposed to just gear selection, then you definitely need this class. And it's going to be mind boggling and eye opening for you. And again, as Sarah alluded, don't think that the word instructor just applies to people who are, certified by X organization and having open enrollment classes every month. That's not what we mean. We mean anybody who preaches the gospel, formally or informally. Someone asks you a question or you just have a conversation with your colleagues or your friends or family, that vocabulary that John talked about is absolutely, absolutely critical. So I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. I really, really do think that you are an absolute blessing to this entire community, and we are lucky to have you, not just at TatCon, but in the entire um, concealed carry world. So thank you. I mean that sincerely. I'm not blowing smoke.
Well, thank you.
Folks,
We appreciate
And thanks
that.
for having us back again. We always look forward to coming to TACCon.
Yeah, we do.
yeah, absolutely. It's our pleasure. And I think, let's see, this year you guys are doubling up on Sunday morning. Is that right?
I believe so. Yep.
Fantastic. So everybody, you've got two opportunities to train with Sarah and John. Do not sleep. Don't miss out. Here is your chance to get the aha moment that we've been talking about. Thanks, folks. We will see you soon. I can't wait to give you both a great big giant hug in
See you
Dallas.
soon.